So I started moving some of the logs out of the way to get to the cedar log that was deeper in the pile. This part of my log pile, I actually was stacking some of the bigger logs that I've brought in over the past couple of months. So I actually kind of struggled a little bit to pick up some of these pretty heavy logs in this pile, and then we just had some rain, so the ground wasn't the driest. I was slipping around in the mud a little bit too, which wasn't helping, but ended up just taking my time here and slowly picking the logs away, restacking them right next to the pile they were in. See this one right here? That was a big oak log, was pretty heavy. I started tipping forward a little bit on that one. Worked at it for a little bit and then eventually got it out of the pile and restacked. That's the log I was trying to get to there, and I was being careful to get that one out of the pile because, like I mentioned, there were some bees that were right underneath the log. I was able to get it out without disturbing them too much. Picked it up and took it over to the mill. So we managed to get the log out of the pile. I didn't get stung by bees, surprisingly. Logs on the mill, it's sitting pretty good right now, but just like I thought, it's a little bit too wide. So now I'm gonna have to, it's just sitting on there now. I'm gonna clamp it in with the mill, get it in place, and then I'm probably gonna have to trim a little bit off of this side with the chainsaw, just so I have enough room for the mill to pass over the log, make a full cut, and not get stuck. I loaded the log on the mill with the log ram that is mounted to the side of the sawmill. Didn't have any trouble lifting it up. I'd say this log's at least probably 4,000 pounds, so it's a big one. But we are gonna get this thing clamped in, and I'm gonna trim off what I need to move forward from here. So that's where we're at. Hopefully that's enough. We'll see. So we just made our first cut into this log. Like I said before, this is a big cedar log here. Now, when you get these logs this size, you get a lot of irregularities, big voids in the outside of the log. Um, I'm going to have to take a good bit off of this log before I get down into all usable lumber. So after making my first cut here, I can already tell, you can see this dark spot in the log right here. That's a telltale sign that somewhere in this log there's going to be metal of some kind, probably a nail. Certain species of wood, just the way the metal reacts, you can usually tell by seeing one of these dark spots. You know, oak, walnut, cherry, a couple others. But you can see, I mean, this is really, really nice grain in this log here. The customer's using this for siding, so he's going to be really happy with this, I feel like. Should get a good bit of board footage out of this log. It's every bit a 30-inch diameter, and I'm primarily going to be cutting basically all 1x8s out of this log, so we should get a good amount of boards. And of course, this is cedar, so it's rot resistant naturally. It's going to make perfect siding. But we are going to continue here to make a couple more cuts before I flip this log. I think I'm going to take maybe 3 or 4 more cuts off the log in the position that it's sitting now. And eventually we're probably going to run into some metal in this at some point. So we'll see how that goes. So you could probably tell that this looks a little bit different from the last time you saw it on the sawmill. Yesterday I went ahead and finished getting the log squared off into a 24-inch by 24-inch square. And then I cut that into 3 8-inch thick sections. So what we're going to do now is stand this back up on the mill. These are going to be sitting vertically. And then I'm going to cut 1-inch boards. They're going to be 1x8s out of these slabs. So I have 3 of these. They're 24-inch. I'm hoping to get around 60 boards out of these 3. So we're gonna probably stand 2 of these up and get those cut, and then stand the last one up and cut that as well. So I'm gonna go get in the skid loader here, get these set on the mill, and we'll cut some boards. I think we're ready to cut. I just wanted to show you guys this real quick before I start cutting boards. This mill has a SetWorks system built in with it, so what that lets me do is I have 9 different presets here that I can program into the mill to give me accurate cuts on all my boards. So for this, we're cutting 1-inch boards, so I'm going to set a preset up on here. It's probably hard for you guys to see the screen, but so what I'm going to do, I'm going to set my first preset, get my input there. So we're going to cut 1-inch boards. Right now this is set up for 1 3/4 boards. I'm going to leave that 1 inch, 0, 0, enter. And then this right here is the kerf size, which deals with the thickness of my blade. So right there I have that set up for 0.99 thousandths. I'm just going to leave that set right there. So if I leave this blank, the board will actually be cut a little bit thinner than 1 inch, but with the way I have this set up now, we should end up with perfect 1-inch boards. So now we just hit enter, and now we're set up with our preset number 1. We're going to cut 1-inch thick boards, and this will allow me to pick a starting point at the top of our slab here, and I'll cut 1-inch boards the whole way down through until we're 1 inch off the deck of the sawmill. We ended up with 86 boards, 1 by 8 by 12 out of that one log. This is going to be used for siding. So this is going to be going out right away. I have it all stacked up. Something like this, I typically don't worry about stickering because it's going to be used right away. If something's going to sit for a little bit before it gets picked up, I'll typically stack it with stickers in between each layer. It all turned out really nice. It was a nice big log. Pretty happy with the amount that we were able to get out of it. And I even still have a couple edge pieces that can be used for slabs. So we're going to get this all banded up and ready for whenever customer comes to pick it up in the next week.